Hello everybody and welcome to episode 4 of Learning SQL, the group by clause. In this episode, we're going to talk about how we can group data together using the group by clause. Let's jump in. So in this episode, we're going to use a new table, and this table is called payment. So I'm going to begin by selecting everything from payment so we can see what's inside that table. And we can see there's a few columns here at our disposal. Namely, we have customer ID and we have an amount column. And we can see that the amount column holds something like dollar figures. So we're going to use that. We're also going to use customer ID because that'll tell us who spent that amount of money. And in this case, we're going to use the scenario that we want to see who our best customers are, using the customer ID and the amount to see who has paid the most money over their lifetime of being a customer. So we're going to write a query, and we're going to begin by selecting customer ID and amount from payment. Now you can see that we have customer ID and amount. But you'll notice that we have multiple records for customer ID 1, when really we want to see the total that the customer spent over their lifetime of being a customer. So really what we want to do is we want to use an aggregate function because we want to combine all these rows and just return one row per customer. So in this case, the aggregate function we're going to use is sum, and we want to sum the amount. Now, we're going to cover more aggregate functions in future episodes, but for now we know that the sum function will add all of the amounts together. Now we're going to run this, but it's going to return an error. And the error is that we have an aggregate query without a group by clause. So that's what we need to do, is we need to tell the database how to group our results. In this case, it's kind of like how we say the question at hand. We want to see the sum of all the purchases by customer because we want to know which customer is our best. So in this case, the answer is simple. We want to group by customer ID. Now when we run this statement, you'll notice that our results are much better. The query executes for starters, and we get the output that we desired. In this case, we can see that customer 1 has $118 spent over his lifetime. And we can scroll down and see all of our customers' total sum of amounts. The group by clause can be combined with the where clause. Now, there is a little, and the having clause, as well as the order by clause. So in this case, we want to order by the sum because we want to see who our best customer is. So after the group by clause, we're going to add an order by clause. And we're going to sort by the sum of amount descending. So we start with our best customers at the top of the list. Now you can see that customer ID 526 has spent the most amount of money with us over their lifetime. They've spent a total of $221.55. And we can go down our list of customers from our highest spenders to our least spenders. I would recommend that you play around with the group by clause, add a where clause, add some of the other clauses in our select statements, and come up with your own scenarios. Until then, we'll talk soon.